Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning on this program. I'm your host of this morning's edition of ASMR News. This morning we're going to be visiting with a special guest. She is a professor of ASMRology, and she comes to us via satellite all the way from the space station. I hope you will be excited to welcome her in a soft-spoken way. Please welcome the host and creator of the show and channel, ASMRexperim3nt, our dear friend and colleague, Amy. Welcome, Amy. Thank you, Janet. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Very much a pleasure. So tell me, Amy, what is ASMR, and how do you know you have it? Is it something we want, or is it like a COVID virus? Well, Janet, honestly, it's nothing like a virus. It's more like a fever, if you know what I mean. ASMR is the acronym we use, and it means autonomous sensory meridian response. Autonomous sensory meridian response. And what does that mean, Amy? What does autonomous sensory meridian response mean? What does it mean to you? Tell me more. Thanks, Janet. I will. Autonomous sensory meridian response is a tingling sensation often described like the hair standing up on the back of your neck, or goosebumps on the insides of your elbows and toes, and other kinds of reactions that are physiological and somewhat involuntary in that they occur in a response to stimuli that, for whatever reason, triggers these responses in our bodies, causing pleasant sensations mostly. They are relaxing. They can be very hypnotic and somewhat trance-like for people. And when did you know that you were experiencing this phenomenon? Were you quite young? You know, Janet, I was. Tell me more. I would say I was pretty young, maybe 5 years old, 6, something like that. And I remember spending summertime with my grandmother, and she just had this way about her that we would sit on the couch or on the porch swing, or we'd get ready for bed and we'd have our little ice cream snack in front of Johnny Carson, and she would sit next to me and she would rub my arms, or more like she would just trace the very edge of her fingernails along my skin, and she would go all the way down and all the way down and all the way up. And she would do this without any rush, no hurry, no time frame, and it immediately set me into this almost lucid state, a bit hypnotic. Wow, Amy, that's fascinating. Is this something that continued, or was it just when you were around your grandmother? No, it continued. I didn't always recognize it, and I didn't know what it was. Sometimes it would just make me sleepy in strange situations that I didn't really plan for. Like what? Tell me more. Okay, Janet. Well, for example, at school, if a teacher had a particularly soothing voice, spoke in a soft, sort of lilting way, or maybe they had kind of a unique distinct speech impediment, or they chewed gum all the time, or they had a way of clicking their consonants, or they had a very sort of drooly sounding mouth sound, just something in it that would kind of bring me in this trance and like a direct line into that sound, and I would just become very still and listen to it or them, especially at reading time. That was one of the huge challenges for me, falling asleep during reading. I imagine your teachers were quite frustrated with you. Oh yeah, they were. But you know, I was a good learner. I paid attention. I just couldn't stay awake when certain people were talking, or certain types of activities, hand motions and things like that. Give me an example. Like what? Well, like I would say, especially when they would do sentence diagramming on the chalkboard. We had these long, old school black slate chalkboards, and my teacher, I think of her especially in third grade, she would stand next to the chalkboard and she'd hold this piece of chalk in her hand that was inside this holder of some kind. I think it was to keep her fingers clean. And she would write a beautifully cursive written sentence on the chalkboard, and then she would step away next to it and she would point with her chalk in her little chalk holder, and she would gently touch the chalk to the chalkboard as she would make a line here and a line there, and she would point out the different components and the different parts of the sentence. And I just go into a coma. And what happened when you grew up? Did you have this experience as an adult, and when did you recognize it for what it is, or the phenomenon that we know as ASMR, Amy? Tell me more. I would say that as an adult, it just became somewhat of a, I don't know if I would call it for a nuisance, but at work especially, I had a situation where I sat next to a woman, Karen actually. Karen, isn't that funny? But Karen actually was always getting assigned to type dictation from her bosses. And in the afternoon, she would come over to her desk, and we had this little wall that's sort of divided us, and she would begin to type. And as soon as she did, I would be at my computer, and pretty soon my hands would stop moving, and I would be asleep practically. And it was agony to be that sleepy suddenly at work. Feels miserable. As much as I loved the sound, it was not conducive to working. And eventually, I had to go speak to my supervisor to explain that I couldn't stay in that spot if Karen was staying in hers, because it was too triggering and I was unable to conduct my employee duties in that state. And she moved me. So, wow, so she believed you. She thought you were serious. She did. I think she was humored by it, actually, but she did allow it, and I did relocate to somewhere with a little less of a triggering environment there. It wasn't easy, though. It was a good environment, very conducive to ASMR sounds. What kind of office was it? Well, it was like a quite old building and everything. A law firm, and it was full of books and leather chairs and old oak bookshelves and carpeting and paper for miles. You could just, so much paper. Lots and lots of rustling and crinkling and copying and stamps and staples and tape. It was just kind of heavenly sometimes. The file room was especially nice. Why was that? Why was the file room especially nice for ASMR? Tell me. Well, I will tell you, Janet. It was nice because the density of all the folders and all the files made for a very soft and muffled environment, and it was so quiet in there. And you would go in and just be able to rustle around with the papers and files and pull big folders off the shelves and flip them open and do your work. And it was just super relaxing, and I loved that. It definitely helped with my stress. And when did you figure out it was something that other people had shared with you, this ASMR? How did you discover that? Actually, it was a friend of mine, gentleman, who I had known for quite some time. He worked in a different office, but when I was going through things with Karen and the dictation knocking me out, I told him about it one day and said, I don't know what I'm going to do. This woman's going to get me fired. And he said, why? What's wrong? I said, well, she's knocking me out every time she types. It does this. I can't stand it. I just immediately feel like I'm going to go into a coma. And I don't know what the deal is, but I can't seem to control it. And he says, oh, Amy, do you know what that is? That's ASMR. Haven't you heard of it? I said, no. What is it? He goes, oh, you know what? I'm not even going to explain. I'm just going to let you go to YouTube and Google it. It's like, type it in. He said, you will find a gazillion different types of videos on it, with it, or about it. And he goes, you know, there's all different kinds. You should go there and check it out. So immediately I went home after work and I investigated the acronym ASMR on YouTube and began watching ASMR videos that night. I probably watched 100 in the course of a couple of days. So yeah, it was really cool and interesting, and I realized for sure that's what I was experiencing. How fascinating. I love it. Thanks for being here. You're welcome, Janet. So tell me, what do you have in your hand that you are tapping on now? Is this ASMR? Well, it's not ASMR because it's really not a thing. It's a phenomenon, a reaction, a physiological response, more so than it is an object or thing, any one sound. But this is, yes, this is a jar, glass, and you can see that it has these little flowers on the inside. And for some people, glass tapping is really, really big trigger and very soothing. So I brought a few different examples of things that people find very triggering for ASMR, and this is one. Let's take a listen. Another popular ASMR trigger is the sound of lids opening and closing. Like this one, hopefully. And there you go. That's one example. I mean, there's a lot of different kinds, but wow. Just wow. Amy, I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed. Thank you. I'm definitely going to go watch a lot of ASMR videos this weekend. Me and Anderson Cooper, we're going out for lunch. I think afterwards we'll do a ASMR pajama fest. That sounds like a lot of fun. I bet he likes ASMR. Well, we're going to find out. Well, great, Janet. That's really good to hear. I think almost anybody can find some part of ASMR that will relax them and help them ease their stress and anxiety, even if they're not highly activated by the triggers that some of us are. It doesn't mean that they can't utilize ASMR in its sort of softer, slower movement and relaxing sounds and lighting and materials and things like that, that almost anyone can take away some relaxation and some stress relief, maybe some help for insomnia and things like that. It can help with depression. It can help with redirecting the mind to get off of worrisome topics, the circular thinking, the dwelling, the ruminating, the self-obsessions. It can kind of help draw us away from those things and maybe just become more present and in the moment. So at least that's the intention. And it doesn't have to be for grown-ups and stress relief. It can be for kids. It can be for families. It really is truly ASMR for everyone. Ooh, what'd you just do? What was that? That little thing you just did with your hands. Tell me about that. Is that a habit or is that on purpose? Oh, that thing? I hate that thing. It's the hand flutter. And it's funny because I actually really can't stand it. I don't like to do it. I don't like to have it happen. And yet, it seems that it's kind of a theme with ASMR artists. I don't know why, but they often will start or end their videos with a little bit of finger hand flutters. And as much as I despise it myself in a way, I end up doing it anyway. It must be some strange ASMR subconscious habit. So yeah, this is the good old hand flutter. Actually, it's not so much the fluttering, I think, as it is the movements of the hands for people are very relaxing. And I don't do a lot of that because it's just kind of not my, I don't know. I just feel a little silly, maybe. Maybe I need to embrace it better, be more open. I think that could be possible, certainly. So, yeah, I think maybe just to give you one more little treat of ASMR. And there are tons. We could do a series if you wanted, Janet. Oh, I'd love it. You should definitely come back. Bring us some more things to give us those tingles you're talking about. Well, I'm going to read this little book to you. Very little. Just very little. And thought you would enjoy that as a little wrap up to the segment. Well, that sounds fantastic, Amy. And thanks again for being on the program. We really enjoyed having you. You are a treasure. Well, thank you, Janet. I think you're a treasure as well, and I'm glad you're here. Thanks for your support, and I hope I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Oh, absolutely. Go ahead. Let's begin your book. Take it away. Thank you, Janet. You're a sweetheart. Hello, 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 my darlings, my dear darlings. I'm going to read a little book, a little book. This little book is little, and it's about birds. Birds, B-I-R-D-S. One bird, two birds, and three. This little book is in the library and author and artwork of Mr. Eric Carl. I don't know how to say if it's Carl or Carly, but he's quite famous. If any of you have ever seen or read the book, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, he wrote that and illustrated it. It's a beautiful book. It was one of my favorites in my childhood. So this is just a miniature little board book. You can see just a few pages here, and we will just get to know the birds a little bit here. I hope you will enjoy this book reading, ASMR style, with birds by Eric Carl or Carly. Let's get started. Birds. Birds. This is a bird book by Eric Carly or Eric Carl. Look at the bird. Look at the bird on each left-hand page. Can you find that bird again on the right-hand page? The Very Hungry Caterpillar thinks you can. Then find me hiding in the pages of a book. Then find me hiding in the pages of a book. There he is. Little hungry caterpillar. He looks quite hungry. There is the bird and the birds. So on this page is one bird. You can see he is a blue bird. Maybe he's a heron or a crane. I don't know. But he is blue, 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 blue. Blue bird. And on this page or 3 other birds. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And he is on this page. Do you know which one it is? You see which one he is. Is he this one down here? It's blue. No? What about this red one? Maybe he just got sunburned. No? You think it's this guy up here? He's kind of small though. Yeah, I think you're right. It's the same. He's the same as this one. You can see. Good job. Good job. And this is the next page. This bird is a pigeon. That is a pigeon. And they make a funny sound. Pigeons like to walk on the ground, and they like to nest in low trees. I mean, I suppose he could be a mourning dove, but I think he's a pigeon. Don't you? That's a pigeon. Pigeon, 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 pigeon. Pigeon. He is a pigeon. Pigeon, pigeon. They're sweet little birds. And on this page is another group of birds. These are four birds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you know what kind of birds these are? Can you tell? This guy looks a lot like could be a cardinal, but he's got a blue tail, so maybe some other kind of bird. Sparrow, perhaps. Sort of a songbird. This one is definitely a blue jay. You can tell because he's got long tail feathers like this. And he has a little bit of a hat on his head. I think, anyway. This one, that's a crow. Or a grackle. A grackle. They are loud and noisy birds. Squawking, squawking, always talking. So, do you see our friend the pigeon? And where is the pigeon on this page? This one? No, not that one. Which one is it? Oh, yes. That's him. That's your pigeon. Good job. You got it right again. I knew you were going to. Okay. This one is what? Who is this one? I think it's a woodpecker, don't you? I think so. I can't remember if this is the downy woodpecker. Could be the red-headed woodpecker. We have quite a few different species of woodpecker here where I live, so. But that's our woodpecker friend. And here is a tree, a tall tree, goes all the way And there are birds in the tree. How many birds are there? I spy one. Maybe there's two. And I see three. And then I also see four, five, and six birds. He was sneaky because he kind of blends in with the tree. So, 6 birds in the tree, and one woodpecker is over here. And where would he sit if he were on the tree branches with the other birds? Do you know? Is there room for him to sit? There is room right here. He can join his friends anytime he wants. He's probably out looking for a snack first. So, do you see any matching bird to our woodpecker on the tree? And if so, where is he? Is he on this page as well? Yes, okay. Show me where. Oh, you're right there. Right there. Very nice. Excellent job. You've done so well. You should know. Very well. And we have on these pages some more birds, I think. I see a cow, though, too. There he is. She. A big spotted Jersey cow, or heifer. I don't know what you call it. That's a dairy cow, because she has her milk udders there. And the sun is shining. Beautiful day on the farm. Who's in the water? Now that I'm seeing it, who's in there? That is what? That's right, a duck. That is a mama duck. She's hosting and parenting quite a large brood of chicks. Baby ducklings. Look how many there are. It's a lot. We can count them together. Start here. How many do you see? Oh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and Mama makes 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's someone else in the picture. Who is it? You see him back there? He's so tiny, but he's there. See him? It's Mr. Hungry Caterpillar. Way out in the pasture. Who knows what he's up to? He's probably looking for other bugs to eat. And then he wants to take a nap in the sun. So, and there's also a bird. He's in the sky, flying along. I wonder what kind of bird that is. This is the bird on this page, you can see. He looks like he could be... Do you think it's a cowbird, or maybe he's got a green head and kind of black or black and bluish wing color? Not really sure. Green head and bluish black wings. He almost looks like kind of a parrot, but I don't think the parrots fly around much on a farm. We'll have to ask Mr. Eric Carly what kind of bird this one is. I'm stumped. But he's matching up with this one in the sky, so I think everybody found their mate or their pair or their friend in the book. Lovely, lovely illustrations in a lovely book. And that's the end. The end. The end. The end. The end. I really hope that you enjoyed the book. And on behalf of myself and my co-host, Miss Shadow, who couldn't be with us today, she doesn't handle plane travel terribly well. And on behalf of the ASMR Experiment, Janet, I want to thank you and your program for having us today and letting us talk a little bit about the ASMR phenomenon and its benefits and where you can find it to explore for yourself, which is here on YouTube. Thanks again. I hope to come back and see you guys soon. If not sooner, then I'll see you, of course, next time. Thank you for watching. Please hit like or subscribe if you are enjoying this video and are interested in seeing more content like it. I'm grateful for you and for your kind support. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful, relaxing day. Be kind, be patient. Hang in there. And bye-bye for now. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Thanks for watching.